After the company was ready to go public, the CEO's girlfriend finally decided to reveal my identity. However, the junior assistant, who never liked me, was quick to step onto the stage first, hooking his arm around my girlfriend's waist, and said triumphantly, "Didn't we say to wait a few more years? Couldn't you even wait that short amount of time?" My girlfriend didn't explain anything, only handed him a share transfer agreement, publicly announcing him as the company's new shareholder. The entire hall buzzed, with everyone whispering loudly. The female assistant seized the opportunity to mock and taunt me. My girlfriend not only didn't stop her but coldly stated, "You certainly helped the company a lot. But he has outstanding ability. Only he can take the company further." I wasn't angry, instead, I nodded in agreement, then decisively handed over all my shares to that assistant. I really want to see, if they lose their biggest investor, which is me, how much further they can take the company. When Taylor announced loudly in the board meeting that Messi had been promoted to a new shareholder, the entire meeting room echoed with thunderous applause. I stood in the corner of the room. The days of continuous overtime had made my head a bit muddled. I even suspected I had misheard. Look at Michael's face, it's truly a sight to behold. Following the CEO for years only resulted in 2% of the shares. How long has Messi been here? And he already has 20%. He used to often find fault with him. Now he looks nothing more than a clown. The whispers and mocking laughter rang continuously in my ears, clearly intended for me to hear. They wanted to trample on my self-respect to curry favor with the new rising star, Messi. And Taylor just watched coldly, with no intention of stopping them. Messi threw me a winning smile, intentionally lowering the corner of his mouth, feigning a pitiful look. "Michael, why don't you applaud to congratulate me? Are you perhaps dissatisfied because I have shares?" He intentionally spoke politely, then slowly offered the contract towards me. "If we're talking seniority, this part should rightly belong to you." Taylor, as if afraid I would accept, hastily snatched the paper back, shoving it into his hand, her expression one of both helplessness and indulgence. "Messi, you are too kind. But the company values real capability, not seniority." After saying that, she coldly glanced at me. "You should also stop causing trouble. The last time you made a serious mistake that cost the company millions. Not punishing you, not firing you, is already being very lenient. By what right do you demand shares?" Watching the two of them perform their harmonious duet, I only found it amusing. The mistake last time was caused by Messi. But fearing punishment, he blamed it all on me. I brought evidence to explain it to Taylor. Yet she still doesn't believe me to this day. But I'm used to it. For all these years, Messi's ability is ordinary. But he is extremely adept at harming me. His words are sweet. The entire company has been won over by him to the point of agreement. And even Taylor believes that. He is a simple, honest person. Every time a conflict arose between us, she always believed the fault lay with me. Gradually, my position in the company became awkward, and the attitude of my colleagues grew increasingly contemptuous. "I'm just afraid Michael is uncomfortable." Messi feigned a pitiful appearance. While speaking, he leaned close to Taylor, his face nearly resting on her shoulder. An overly intimate gesture. Yet Taylor didn't push him away. Instead, she glared at me, her eyes full of blame. "Michael, who are you pouting for? I have thoroughly thought through this share transfer. Don't ruin everyone's good mood. If you're uncomfortable, just leave." Everyone around immediately chimed in agreement. I knew she spoke in anger, and merely let out a soft laugh. The investors were people I painstakingly sought out and begged to join. The project proposal was what I stayed up all night to edit word by word. The company's ability to successfully go public is all thanks to my efforts. Yet now, they want to cross the bridge and dismantle the planks, using one sentence to steal all the results. I picked up my bag and took 2 steps forward. Messi, thinking I was about to act, fearfully hid behind Taylor's back. She immediately spread her arms to shield him, her eyes looking at me with vigilance. "Michael, what are you planning to do?" I simply took out the bundle of shares from my bag and handed it in front of them. "I just think he works too hard. The little share you gave him isn't enough. My shares, give them to him too. I hope he tries even harder." Messi's eyes lit up, staring intently at the paper, while Taylor just silently looked at me, saying nothing. A commotion broke out beneath the stage. Everyone knew I had worked at this company for many years. Since it was just a startup, I endured all hardships with them. And now I alone carried the workload of 10 people. From securing investments to handling trivial matters in the company, I personally took care of everything. Now the company was listing, and the value of the shares was increasing. 2% of the shares were close to the 10 million mark. Previously, everyone was guessing what conditions I would demand from Taylor with this opportunity. Whether it was increasing my shares or a promotion. No one expected that I would voluntarily give them up. But they didn't know. I was Taylor's fiancé. Just because she didn't want others to gossip. Our relationship had always been kept a secret. Then, when Messi appeared, I started to worry. I wanted her to publicize my identity. And after many pleas, she finally agreed, saying she would officially announce it on the day the company listed. Last night, I was so excited I stayed awake all night. Yet this morning, the person who stepped onto the stage for the public announcement was Messi. He even held Taylor's waist in front of everyone. And she didn't resist at all. Everyone assumed they were a couple. But her expression remained calm as if nothing was wrong. It was at this moment that I finally understood. She wasn't unwilling to reveal our relationship, but unwilling to reveal my relationship with her. She remained silent. I couldn't be bothered to say anything more. I just turned and walked away. Just 2 steps away. A warm hand grasped my wrist. I turned my head. Taylor looked surprised. Perhaps she hadn't expected to hold me back either. In the past, every time we argued, she always let me walk away, knowing that I loved her, and would sooner or later return to apologize. But this time, I understood the different reason. She pursed her lips and said, "Michael, you are too impulsive. You are not as mature and composed as Messi. I originally didn't intend to make things difficult for you. But your behavior today makes me very disappointed. These shares, I must give them to Messi." I couldn't help but burst out laughing. She was inventing a reason to legitimize the stripping of my shares. If this were before, I probably would have argued to the end. But now I only felt calm. I softly said, Taylor seemed stunned. She had clearly prepared herself to deal with my anger. But this reaction left her speechless. Just then, someone in the hall raised a glass of champagne to loudly cheer. Taylor glanced at me, then turned to take the contract. I watched her back as she walked toward Messi, then looked away, quietly leaving the banquet hall. Outside, I called my father. "Dad, I'll listen to you. I'm coming back to take over the family company." My father owns over 100 companies, ranking in the top 20 of the Forbes list. I am a genuine young master. But when I first met Taylor, she once said, her father was hit by a rich young man's car. The perpetrator fled. And ultimately, her father died because he couldn't be saved in time. That person escaped punishment due to his connections, only being detained for a few days before being released. Since then, Taylor hated the wealthy. For her, I hid my true identity, refused all family arrangements, left home and moved to this city with her, and poured all my savings into starting the company with her. Up until yesterday, I still naively believed that she and I would eventually achieve a happy ending. But only now do I know. I lost completely, with nothing left. Hanging up the phone, I returned to the apartment we shared. The room was decorated warmly and romantically. The floor was covered with fragrant candles. And in the center was a bouquet of fresh blue roses. Hidden within it was an exquisite diamond ring, next to which was the deed to a high-end villa. Those were all things I had prepared to give Taylor. I had imagined countless times the scene of her being moved when she saw them. But now, she would never have the chance to see them. I threw all those things away. Booked a flight to leave tomorrow night. I needed 1 day to handle the handover work. Ding. My phone vibrated. It was a message from Messi. A video was sent. In it, Messi was carrying Taylor princess style. Her face flushed, clutching his neck tightly, her head resting on his chest. The two looked like a couple. Around them were cheers and shouts. Kiss, kiss. Very quickly after, the video was recalled. Messi sent another message. Sorry, sent it to the wrong person. Of course, I didn't believe it. I know him too well. He has used such tactics to undermine Taylor countless times. Before, I would often angrily rush to confront Taylor, only to be scolded by her in return. Can you stop being so sensitive? Focus on doing your work well, okay? Initially, I even thought I was truly overly suspicious. But that day, when she was sick, and in her delirium called Messi's name, I knew her heart had already leaned toward him. This time, I felt nothing, just coldly blocked and deleted him. But very quickly, the phone rang again. It was Taylor. Michael, did you delete Messi? Her voice was cold and accusatory as soon as I picked up. Without asking what he had just done to her, I just calmly replied, yes. Did you slap him? He is your colleague after all. If you do that, will he still have the face to work at the company later? Now he thinks it's his fault. He's blaming himself, he's crying. Add him back quickly, and apologize to him. I laughed, coldly saying, do you know what he just sent me? The other end was silent for a few seconds. Then came her contemptuous tone. Didn't he just mistakenly send an image? What's the big deal? Sure enough, as long as it was Messi's fault, Taylor always covered for him. I sneered. That's right, it was just mistakenly sending an image. No different from losing a few million. Before, Messi had mistakenly sent the original price list to a partner, causing serious consequences. Many partners canceled contracts. Others took the opportunity to force down the price. In just a few days, millions of dollars of effort were washed down the drain. Yet Taylor still acted as if nothing happened. The other side clearly thought of that incident and remained silent for a few minutes. Sister Taylor. Michael is probably still angry because of the share split today. If he's upset, should I go apologize to him? Messi's hoarse, heavy voice came through the phone. But Taylor gently coaxed him. No need, it's not your fault. Just let him calm down by himself. With that, she hung up. It was the same before. Whenever there was a conflict, she would always use the excuse, let him calm down, and then turn to console Messi. But this time, I didn't feel angry at all. I just calmly drafted a letter of resignation and sent it to the HR department's mailbox. The moment I pressed send, I felt completely relieved. In the early morning, as I was deeply asleep, I received a call from Taylor. Come out and pick me up, I'm still at the same hotel as before. On the other end of the line, there was a noisy mix of people and music. If this were before, I would have changed clothes and rushed right out to pick her up. But now, I just yawned, my voice groggy. Call a cab, there are plenty of taxis there. Taylor's voice held a hint of suspicion. Are you asleep? Yes. Before, whenever she went out to socialize, I would worry she was in danger, losing sleep over it. But tonight, I slept very well. Even this phone call only felt like an interruption to my sleep. Taylor didn't say anything more. She only got home more than half an hour later. I was in the bathroom at the time, and we ran into each other as I came out. Just in time for you to be awake. Cook me a pack of instant noodles, will you? I'm starving. She said it as if nothing had happened. I understood clearly. This was her way of giving me a way down. Every time we argued, she would show a soft, vulnerable side, creating an opportunity for me to initiate conversation, to close the distance. But that was when I still loved her. Now, the love has been completely worn away. All I feel is annoyance. Cook it yourself. If you don't know how, order takeout, I said coldly and returned to my room. But Taylor quickly walked over, blocking the door right in front of me. I smelled the lingering scent of Messi's men's cologne on her. Michael, are you still angry? I've already explained it. I did it all for the company. Don't think that once we've listed, you can rest easy forever. There's still a lot of networking needed in the future. Messi's ability isn't as good as yours, but he has wide connections. And his family also has a business. Maybe we can even collaborate. I did this just to keep him around. Sharing the shares is also to stabilize the company. I truly didn't expect her to bother explaining. But I couldn't believe her. Not wanting to argue, I replied flatly, and walked into the room, closing the door behind me. Blocked by me outside, she was clearly truly annoyed, kicking the door hard and shouting, Fine, Michael. Do whatever you want. Just don't regret it. Dash dash dash. The next morning, as soon as I stepped out of the room, I saw her sitting on the sofa, carefully folding a brand new suit. Seeing me, she ran over and urged me to try it on. I immediately recognized it. It was a limited edition Chanel suit. Both expensive and hard to buy. Even referred to online as the most perfect gift a woman can give her lover. I had previously hinted to her that I really liked this suit. As soon as I finished changing and was about to say something, she smiled faintly. You and Messi have similar builds. It fits you perfectly. He'll probably suit it too. Anyway, take it off, don't wrinkle it. I went through a lot of trouble to buy it. Saying that, she personally took off my jacket, carefully folded it, placed it in a gift box, and happily left. I knew Taylor was being intentional, deliberately using yesterday's incident to provoke me. But I wasn't angry. I just found it childish. Dash dash dash. After finishing a phone call, I went to the company to submit my resignation. As soon as I stepped into the lobby, I saw Messi sitting at my desk, surrounded by colleagues who were flattering him. One person saw me and immediately said, "Michael, go buy milk tea for the whole office." Why should I buy it? I frowned. The CEO just said, "Whoever comes to the company last has to treat everyone. You are the latest one to arrive. Come on." Messi stood up, intentionally smoothing the suit he was wearing. I recognized it. It was the suit Taylor claimed she bought for him this morning. "How can we let Michael go buy it?" "I'll go then," he said, but didn't move at all. Sure enough, immediately afterward, Taylor walked out of the office. When she saw the suit on Messi, she paused for a second, then instantly regained her composure, and even intentionally adjusted his collar for him, smiling. "It truly suits you very well." The people around them loudly teased them. Her face flushed slightly, and she immediately turned to look at me. Perhaps Taylor was afraid I would be jealous and lose my temper again. But she was worrying unnecessarily. Now, there were no ripples left in me. Only a dead calm like a frozen lake. I didn't say anything, and it seemed that my very silence made her feel even more uneasy. I coldly said, "I just said it, the last person to arrive at the company goes to buy milk tea. If you're not cooperating, why are you still here?" A colleague immediately pointed towards me. "It's Michael, he was the last one to arrive." Taylor, who already knew, slightly curled her lips into a cold smile. Go. If you don't go, I'll fire you immediately." It seemed she hadn't received my resignation letter yet. Seeing this, I no longer hid anything, and calmly said, "I came today to complete my resignation procedures." The entire office was stunned. A colleague who was quite close to me quietly advised, "Michael, the CEO just announced big news to everyone. It would be foolish for you to quit now. Besides, can't you tell? The CEO was just joking with you." I calmly replied, "I'm not joking. I already submitted the letter to HR yesterday." A flicker of delight flashed in Messi's eyes. But just as he was about to say something, he caught Taylor's deep gaze and swallowed his words. Taylor frowned. Her eyes looking at me were complex. "Do you know what stage the company is in right now? If you quit at this time, do you know what you are losing?" "I know," I said calmly. "Losing annoyance and constraint." Messi feigned apology. "Michael, I understand. You must still be bothered by the old incident. How about, I leave instead? After all, you and the CEO have worked together for so many years. It's truly a pity for you to leave now." He said this but secretly glanced at Taylor, clearly waiting for her to keep him. I watched the scene and found it amusing. Taylor seemed not to notice his trickery, and quickly grabbed Messi's hand, her voice gentle. "This has nothing to do with you. If someone has to go, it won't be you." Triumph flashed in Messi's eyes. Seeing Taylor hadn't changed her mind, he pretended to add, "But, Michael has been here for a long time. Let me advise him one more time." He stepped up, feigning intimacy and patting my shoulder. "Michael, reconsider. We truly can't bear to let you go. It was just a joke earlier. Everyone here treats you like a brother." But when no one was paying attention, he squeezed my shoulder hard. A sharp, needle-like pain. I reacted almost instinctively. with a kick straight to his chest. Messi fell backward onto the floor, clutching his chest, breathing rapidly. Taylor rushed over in a panic to help him up, her eyes filled with worry. Before, when I drank so much for social events that I had a stomach hemorrhage. She had never shown such concern. Then she suddenly slapped me hard across the face, shouting loudly, "Michael, are you crazy? Messi was kindly advising you. And you resort to hitting people? Are you bullying your colleague?" Just then, HR walked past, apparently wanting to report on my resignation. Taylor didn't hesitate. Process his resignation. Tell him to get lost. After signing my resignation letter, she still felt unsatisfied and continued to speak. The company's profits now are hundreds of thousands every day. Only a fool would leave at this time. Messi, rest assured. In a few months, never mind a house or a car, you can have anything you want. The same goes for everyone else. Whoever has the best performance next month, I'll gift them an apartment. Messi's eyes shone brightly, and the colleagues cheered excitedly. Taylor became even more arrogant, looking every bit the leader. And those who are insubordinate, who don't know their place, I won't let them off even if they are transferred elsewhere. Everyone immediately chimed in, yelling insults at me, watching them almost go crazy over the benefits. I remained silent, hesitating for a moment. I still didn't speak. This morning, my father called me. Only then did I find out. The largest investor in Taylor's company was my father's company. When he learned I was planning to quit to take over the family company, he had someone review all of Taylor's investment activities and was extremely dissatisfied with the results. Therefore, he decided to withdraw the capital, citing the other party's violation of contract terms. I understood very well. Once this capital source was withdrawn, forget buying houses or cars. The company might not even survive until next month. Seeing me about to speak but then holding back, Taylor thought I was relenting and glanced at me, her voice icy. Some people, it's still not too late to apologize to Messi now. Otherwise, before she could finish, the finance department rushed in hurriedly. Their voice panicked. It's terrible, Director Taylor. Our largest investor just sent a notice, finding serious financial irregularities in the company, suspecting fraud in the documentation. Not only are they withdrawing their capital, but they also plan to sue, demanding triple the amount of the breach penalty. The people who were just noisy now fell silent. Taylor's face stiffened. Before anyone could react, Messi let out a contemptuous laugh. What kind of joke is this? Our company just went public. How could there be financial problems? It must be a mistake. Hearing that, Taylor seemed reassured, sighing in relief and frowning at the finance department. Let's talk about this later. Don't spread panic here. Don't cause alarm among everyone. That's not it, the finance employee eagerly tried to explain. But Taylor waved her hand. Enough, go back to work. You should first discuss this matter clearly with the other side. Don't just panic after hearing a few rumors. If this happens again, your salary will be docked. The finance employee's eyes were nearly red with worry. I couldn't help but speak up. How about everyone listens to what he has to say first? Messi glanced at me with disdain, sneering. Michael, I can't believe you're about to leave the company. Yet you still worry so much about company affairs. Taylor seemed to remember my presence. Her expression, which had just softened, immediately turned cold. Glancing at me. What are you still doing here? Didn't you plan to resign? Aren't you going to scram? Taylor, don't talk like that. Messi interjected, forcing a smile. Who knows, maybe Michael regrets it? Give him another chance. Taylor raised her head, her voice cold and arrogant. This is a company, not a playground. Does acknowledging a mistake fix everything? If so, everyone will follow suit. And won't the company descend into chaos? How can I manage it anymore? Messi suggested again. How about we transfer Michael to the security office temporarily? And transfer him back after a while. Consider it a test of character. Watching the two of them coordinate their acting like a play, I only found it funny. My earlier reminder was merely because I had been with Taylor for many years. I didn't want to see her too flustered. I only wanted her to prepare herself beforehand. But since she didn't listen, I didn't need to say anything more. I turned to leave. Just then, A stir suddenly arose outside the company. Through the crowd, a middle-aged man in a neat suit walked in. I recognized him immediately. It was the lawyer for the branch of my father's conglomerate. Taylor didn't know him, but still politely stepped forward to greet him. Before she could open her mouth, the lawyer took out a stack of documents, handed it towards her, his voice serious. "This is a lawyer's letter entrusted by the company for me to deliver. The trial will commence in 3 days. I hope you will be present on time." The smile on Taylor's lips gradually vanished. If just now they were still comforting themselves that everything was just a misunderstanding. Then now, with the official document, clear red seal, and the name of the large company printed at the top, it was enough to confirm. The company was genuinely having its capital withdrawn and being sued. "That's impossible, our company doesn't have any problems." Taylor panicked, nearly clutching the lawyer's arm tightly. I had never seen her so stressed. Because previously, whenever a major issue arose, I was always the one who stepped up to handle it. The lawyer maintained a detached look, skillfully removing her hand. "I apologize, but this is the company's decision. My only responsibility is to inform you. I hope you handle it proactively." After saying that, he bowed and left. I was about to follow suit, but Taylor blocked me, her voice commanding. "Michael, this matter, you handle it." I looked at her red-rimmed eyes, recalling the times the company faced difficulties. The first person she sought was always me. Initially, she still showed guilt, knew how to be coquettish, and said sweet things. But over time, that attitude gradually turned into a given, and then a default expectation that I must help. However, no one has an obligation to be good to others forever. Not even my father. He invested in this company, not because I was his son, but because he saw a profit. Family ties were only a small part. Profit was the larger part. So, whether he invested or withdrew capital, I would not interfere. "I apologize. I have already resigned. I cannot handle this matter." Saying that, I took out the signed resignation form and held it up for her to see. Her signature was still clearly visible on it. According to procedure, resignation requires 3 days, but she was angry earlier and personally told HR to print it out and sign it immediately, saving me the wait. Taylor was speechless, her face pale. Beside her, Messi spoke up aggressively. "Michael, what you're doing is wrong. Does resigning mean completely running away from responsibility? You've worked at the company for so long, enjoyed so many benefits. Now that we face difficulties, aren't you going to lend a hand?" He didn't realize. As soon as he finished that sentence, Taylor's face turned even paler. Messi only knew that Taylor and I were once close. Knew she was the company's CEO. But he didn't know the person who truly contributed more to the company was me. Glory and praise had clouded his eyes. Perhaps only now did he suddenly realize. His voice became hoarse. "Michael." I cut him off. "You don't need to say anything more. Taylor, we're breaking up." I had originally planned to tell her about the breakup after leaving the company, but now it seemed it wasn't necessary anymore. As soon as the words left my mouth, a series of shocked whispers immediately echoed around. They were a couple? Oh my God, were CEO Taylor and him actually dating? I thought Taylor and Messi were the couple? Taylor said she wanted to hide her relationship with me, but within the company, everyone thought she and Messi were the couple. No matter how close she and I were, I was just a shadow in the background. They only thought that I did everything for myself. No one ever understood that I was Taylor's fiancé. As for why things turned out this way, Taylor should understand best. I knew, in most likelihood, she would still defend Messi, stepping in to explain and justify his actions. Before, someone in the company had also doubted Messi's competence. As soon as the rumor reached Taylor, she immediately fired that person without hesitation. It was since that time that people started gossiping that the relationship between her and Messi was not simple. I didn't linger any longer. Since the news of the breakup had been made public, the rest was no longer relevant to me. I left the company. As soon as I reached the lobby, a Rolls-Royce pulled up in front. My father's lawyer stepped out, respectfully opened the back door, and said, "Young Master Michael, the CEO asked me to pick you up and take you home." I softly replied, then got into the car. Unconsciously looking up. Through the large glass window, I saw Taylor standing and watching me from the upper floor. Her eyes complex, wondering what she was thinking. But that was no longer worthy of my concern. When the car stopped in front of the house, my mother, upon seeing me, emotionally rushed over and hugged me tightly. Her eyes welling up with tears, crying and asking, "You've lost so much weight. Have you been living well lately?" Seeing my mother's loving concern, my heart twinged. The years I spent with Taylor. It was true that I had lost a lot of weight. Life was not easy. But back then, I was willing to endure it. Now, seeing the few gray hairs starting to show on my mother's head, I only felt immense regret and shame. "See, I told you to listen to us sooner. Stay at home, study management, and take over the company for a stable life. Now what? You were kicked out by someone else, weren't you?" My father sat on the sofa, his voice half sarcastic, half worried. I understood his nature, cold on the outside, warm on the inside. He only said that because if he truly didn't care, he wouldn't have secretly invested in Taylor's company just for me. That night, my mother instructed the chef to prepare a lavish dinner, intentionally making the food mild, as my stomach couldn't handle spicy food. I remember every time I ate with Taylor, she would always order spicy dishes. I had told her many times that I had stomach issues and couldn't eat spicy food, but she would just give a faint smile, never taking it seriously. During the startup period, my stomach was constantly tormented. When I cooked at home, every time she returned, she would instruct, "You must add a lot of chili." Once I forgot, she immediately threw her chopsticks down, cursed the food as bland, then left to wash her hands, not bothering to eat. Since that time, I never dared to forget again. 6 years with Taylor. My stomach endured for 6 years. Tonight, I ate a truly good meal, without needing to take any stomach medicine after the meal. Feeling full, I showered and lay on the soft bed, thinking that perhaps I would have a peaceful sleep tonight. Unexpectedly, that night, Taylor called me. I hesitated for a few seconds, then still picked up the phone. "Michael, why aren't you back? Where did you go?" Her voice was hoarse, betraying confusion. I found it strange. Before, when I wasn't home, she never actively called. On the contrary, whenever I was a little late, I was always the one who worried and called first. "We've broken up. What's the matter with me going home? Is something wrong with you?" I asked. Taylor's voice trembled. But I haven't agreed. I lightly laughed. "Does it make any difference whether you agree or not? This relationship is already broken. Does agreeing or not still mean anything?" When I said we should break up at the company, seeing everyone's reaction, I suddenly realized, perhaps even saying the words, "break up," was redundant. "But you once said, you would never leave me." Her voice choked up, as if she was about to cry. "Michael, the words you said before, do they not count anymore?" I remained silent. It was true that I had said that sentence. That was when I first met her, when she was being cornered by her relatives, who were demanding money. I took all the money I had on me to help her pay her debts. Afterward, she sat on the rooftop, her spirit broken. I was afraid she would do something foolish, so I sat down beside her, kept her company, and talked all night. I once helped her untangle her worries. She told me about her family, about her unhappy years, about her life without a pillar of support. I had never thought that there could be someone in this world who had to live in such hardship, feeling pain and anger. And finally, I said to her, "Then stay with me. As long as you love me, I will never leave you." However, she only remembered half of that sentence. The other half, loving me, she forgot. Every time she forgot something important, I would proactively cover for her, comforting myself that maybe she was too busy. But then, I couldn't deceive myself anymore, because I discovered she remembered Messi's birthday very clearly, remembered all his preferences, and even knew the foods he was allergic to. The other end of the line was terrifyingly silent. She was still waiting for my answer. "Just consider that I broke my promise," I softly replied, not wanting to explain any more meaningless things. "Is it because of the woman who was sitting in the Rolls-Royce that came to pick you up yesterday?" She suddenly asked. I was stunned. And then understood, she misunderstood. There was no woman. Don't lie to me. She gave a cold laugh. Sure enough, Messi was right. All that talk about being angry, all those misunderstandings, were just excuses for cheating and changing your mind. Michael. Don't regret this later. The phone was hung up immediately after. I held the phone and let out a bitter, soft laugh. In the end, she still chose to believe Messi. Not me. I lazily tossed the phone aside and lay back down on the bed. I thought I would lose sleep tonight, like countless times before after every argument. But no. As soon as my head hit the pillow, I fell into a deep sleep. A strangely sweet slumber. Waking up the next morning. The sunlight was strangely beautiful today. I heard the news. That Taylor was distraught over the company issue. Worried to the point of going crazy. After thinking for a long time, I went to the study to find my father. He seemed to already know what I intended to ask, and handed me a stack of documents. When I opened them, I was stunned. That was the real financial report of Taylor's company. Completely different from the version I had seen. It turned out, the company had been having problems for a long time. Just to call for investment, she had created 2 sets of books. A fake one to present externally, and a real one hidden away. The real report showed a deficit of nearly $30 million. Even if I withdrew the lawsuit, she would not be able to hold on. My father spoke calmly. Her company started having problems a year ago. I flipped through each page. My heart grew colder and colder. Yes. A year ago was exactly when Messi joined the company. It was also around that time that Taylor urged me to hand over financial control. I asked for the reason. She said she wanted me to focus on investment and projects. I believed her, only saying I would hand it over after making arrangements. But she complained that I was slow, forcing me to transfer it directly to Messi. I never thought it was all to cover for him. Even this shared transfer incident was surely related to the finances. I let out a bitter laugh. During all those days and nights I struggled to find investors, staying awake for our future. What was she really thinking? Was she thinking of a way to hide things from me to protect Messi? Or calculating how to kick me out? To be openly with him? I didn't say anything more. Just quietly left the study. Perhaps fearing I had suffered too great a shock. That evening, father took my mother and me to attend a welcome party for old friends. Unexpectedly, there, I ran into Taylor and Messi. The party hadn't started yet. My father and his friends were chatting in the lounge, and my mother and I stepped into the banquet hall first. After exchanging a few words, I saw the two of them, having just clinked glasses, laughing and talking with a few guests. Messi was wearing the suit Taylor had custom ordered for him. Seeing me, he intentionally adjusted his collar, smiling provocatively. "Oh, Michael, you're here too? What a surprise." Taylor also turned to look. She was about to say something, but for some reason, her expression immediately darkened. I was used to it, for all these years. Her expression was always volatile, especially since Messi came along. The number of times she showed me a cold face increased even more. I didn't want my mother to also have to see that look. So I pulled her and turned to leave. But Messi quickly stepped forward to block our path. "Running away? Since you worked together for so many years, shouldn't you at least talk a little when you meet?" He glanced around, his tone disdainful. "After all, the guests invited to this party are all influential people. You now seem to not even have a job. How did you manage to get in here? Or did this auntie bring you?" Saying that, he deliberately glanced at my mother, his eyes full of hidden meaning, clearly not friendly. Before I could even speak, Taylor also stepped forward, coldly smiling. "Michael, you truly have stooped to an unbearable level. You left me for this old woman?" I frowned, knowing she misunderstood, and said angrily, "Taylor, watch your words." I was about to clarify that she was my mother, but she cut me off without hesitation. "I don't care who she is. An old and ugly woman. Doesn't she just have a bit of money? Michael, don't think that just because you left the company, you can't make money. The company is still doing very well right now. I'm here today to meet CEO David. He has already agreed to cooperate with us. When the project is completed, Do you know what level the company will reach? Perhaps thinking of the glorious vision in her imagination. Her eyes looking at me grew even more smug, seemingly waiting for me to be humiliated and beg. But she had no idea. CEO David was my father. I use my mother's surname and live quite privately. So very few people know my true identity. I was about to open my mouth, but my mother gently pulled my arm, signaling for silence. Perhaps she recognized Taylor's identity and was thinking of the stories I had told her. Taylor's image now was completely different from the person I once loved. I felt a moment of awkwardness, but my mother maintained her composure. She stepped up, smiling gently, her voice mild yet full of hidden meaning. My dear, allow me to advise you. Before you say anything, think carefully. Some words, once spoken, are like a nail. They can hurt the person closest to you. By the time you realize your mistake, it will be too late to regret. Hearing this, Taylor let out a cold laugh. Then suddenly grabbed a glass of wine from the table and splashed it directly onto my mother's face. A woman who interferes in another person's family dares to lecture me? I couldn't hold back anymore. I swung my hand and slapped her hard. You hit me? You hit me for another woman? She was stunned, clutching her cheek and yelling angrily. Michael, you've changed. You wouldn't even speak harshly to me before. I couldn't be bothered to reply. Only carefully used a tissue to wipe the wine from my mother's clothes. Taylor grew even angrier, attempting to rush forward, but her hand was quickly grabbed and forcefully shoved away by someone. I looked up and realized my father and his friend had arrived. Seeing my mother's distressed appearance, my father's face immediately darkened. I felt a slight shiver. He was famous in their circle for being wife-obsessed. Now that my mother was humiliated like this, I didn't know what he would do next. Before I could say anything, Messi stuck his chest out, looking arrogantly and provocatively at my father. But my father came from a prestigious background, his noble aura radiating naturally. Compared to him, no matter how much Messi tried to appear arrogant, in the eyes of others, he was like mud next to jade. My father coldly said, "Apologize to her immediately." The entire banquet hall instantly fell silent. The surrounding guests all looked towards us, no one daring to breathe heavily. My father's friend, who was also the host of the party, immediately broke out in a cold sweat. He certainly didn't dare to let my father back down to Messi, but also didn't want the party to turn into chaos. So he quickly stepped forward, smiling to mediate, introducing my father's identity to Messi and Taylor, and then suggesting peace. Messi, hearing this, thought the host was siding with him, and became even more overbearing. Don't talk so much, get them thrown out for me. He brazenly pointed his finger at my father, without knowing that he himself was the one about to be thrown out. After that, he pointed his finger at me and mother. A high-class party like this, and you let a beast of burden and a mistress in? As soon as the words were spoken, the atmosphere immediately grew tense, everyone falling silent. My father coldly asked, "Who did you call mistress?" Messi heard this and let out a contemptuous laugh. "Why are you defending her? What, is she your wife? Then keep her close, because if you're not careful, she'll be running after that young man over there soon." Before his words were finished, a powerful, heaven-sent punch from my father landed squarely on his face. Blood mixed with a few broken pieces of teeth sprayed from Messi's mouth. "You dare hit me? Dare to strike me in front of so many people? Host, did you see that? He's the one who struck first. Quickly throw him out," he yelled while pointing wildly. Just then, 2 security guards arrived. Messi immediately commanded, "Quick, drag him out." But the 2 guards didn't follow his orders. Instead, each held an arm, breaking his grip, and dragged him straight out. Messi struggled, screaming, "Let go, I'm not leaving. Taylor, save me. I did all this for you. You saw it, it's not my fault." Sure enough, Taylor spoke up immediately. "He clearly struck first. By what right are you not throwing him out?" She pointed at my father, questioning the host. The host just sighed, looking at her with pity. "Because he is Mr. David." As the words were uttered, Taylor's pupils contracted. The David person who could appear at this party. Wasn't he the one she had been looking for all this time? In an instant, she froze completely, her legs weak, stumbling back a few steps. nearly falling into the champagne rack behind her. My father quickly held my mother, his eyes full of worry. "Are you all right, my dear wife?" Then he turned and glared at me. I knew I was at fault, and obediently bowed my head to admit my mistake. "I'm sorry, Mom and Dad." The words, Mom and Dad, had barely left my mouth when Taylor's eyes widened in shock. "You just said, Mom and Dad?" Without waiting for my reply, she burst out laughing like a madwoman. "Impossible. Your name is Cruz, his name is David. How can they be your parents?" "Michael, stop lying to me." But seeing my silence, and the terrifying stillness around, the smile on her face gradually faded. She stammered. I apologize. I was going to tell you sooner. At first, when I thought our relationship was solid enough, I was going to confess. But then Messi appeared. I was afraid you would leave me. So, I chose to hide it again. The more Taylor spoke, the more choked up her voice became, her eyes full of unwillingness. "Is it just because he has power and influence that you can treat us this way?" She nearly screamed at the host. I knew, if I didn't clarify, the rumor of using power to bully others would surely spread everywhere tomorrow. So I decisively ordered, "Play the surveillance footage." The image appeared very clearly. The person who struck first was Taylor. She was the one who threw the wine on my mother. There was no need for further argument. Who was right and who was wrong was clear for everyone to see. Taylor's face was pale, just as she was about to say something. The police entered, quickly twisting her arms and putting handcuffs on her, escorting her and Messi out. "Michael, you can't treat me like this. I love you. I just mistook your mother. It's because I was jealous. Did you forget everything between us?" She cried and struggled, her sobs trembling. "I once said I hated rich kids. But when I found out your true identity, I didn't hate you at all. It was then I realized I truly loved you." I just quietly looked at her. My gaze lowered, full of disappointment. "Stop pretending. You came here, wasn't it because you had already investigated my identity?" In fact, I knew for a long time. Ever since she saw me step out of the Rolls-Royce that day. She had secretly sent people to investigate. After that, she and Messi staged the strained relationship drama, only to extract information about the company's ownership. Everything was a calculation. Hearing this, Taylor's face turned white, her body limp as she collapsed onto the ground. I didn't look at her anymore, letting the police take her away. Because I knew, the real Taylor had died a long time ago. Died on some unknown night. In a quiet way. Without a sound, without looking back. After the uproar at the party that day, everything seemed as if it would gradually subside. But less than a week later, a bigger scandal erupted, this time. The people exposed were Taylor and Messi. News exploded across social media. HX company investigated for serious financial fraud. Messi, the brand representative, directly linked to a money laundering ring. Messi and Taylor detained for investigation. The press competed to publish, and netizens discussed with glee. Audio recordings, fake contracts, and edited financial reports were revealed one by one. Everything was in chaos. No one expected the lovers, who once stood proudly in the spotlight, to collapse so quickly. The company was originally Taylor's passion. But now, overnight, the brightly lit sign was taken down, employees dispersed, and shareholders collectively withdrew their capital. Taylor sat in her empty apartment, her phone ringing incessantly. All were demands for debt repayment, curses, or cancelled contracts. She tremblingly opened the internet, seeing her name prominently displayed on top searches with hundreds of humiliating comments. As for Messi, he was escorted out of the headquarters by the police under blinding camera flashes. His face pale but still trying to maintain his composure. The only difference was, no one believed in his gentlemanly facade anymore. The news reached me. I just quietly put the newspaper down, not saying a word. Beside me, Mother also sighed. Some people, when they lose trust, no matter how rich they are, they have nothing left. I nodded, looking out the window, where the morning light had just shone through. Strangely clear and peaceful. All the lies, all the fake glamour, finally vanished, leaving behind only the real people, and the real choices. The rain that night was bone-chillingly cold. As I stepped out of the car, and was about to open the house door, A figure rushed out from the corner of the wall, Taylor. She was drenched, her makeup smeared, her face haggard with no hint of her former arrogance. Michael, it's me. She trembled, her voice choked. I just want to say a few words, just a few words. I didn't answer, just silently looked at her. That gaze was cold, as if it held no warmth left from the man who once loved her. Taylor stepped closer, rain mixed with tears. I know you hate me, but now I truly have nothing left. Messi was arrested, the company went bankrupt. Even the house was confiscated. I beg you, help me just one time. You have connections with the investigation team. Just one word from you, and my sentence will be reduced. Michael, I'm begging you. I know you still love me. I remained still, not speaking. Only when she tremblingly reached out to touch my hand did I step back, my voice cold. Enough, Taylor. She froze. My voice was deep, but each word landed like a hammer blow. You chose that path. You sold out the company, betrayed my trust. And now you come to beg me to save you? Don't dream about it. I stopped loving you a long time ago. Taylor burst into tears, kneeling before me. I was wrong. I truly regret it. Just say the word, and I'll do anything you want. I let out a soft, bitter laugh. Taylor, you still don't understand. I am not a saint, nor am I someone you can still take advantage of. The last time you called my name, it was to harm me. Are you using that name again now to beg? I bent down, my voice cold as steel. I did love you, truly. But the person I loved is already dead. Died on the day you brought that third-party man home. Taylor looked up, her eyes brimming with tears, trembling as she grabbed the hem of my coat. I have no one left. I only have you, Michael. I sharply pulled my hand away, stepping back toward the door. You have no me left. From now on, we are strangers. Saying that, I slammed the door shut in front of her. The sound of the lock clicking was dry and final, like a period to everything. Outside, Taylor collapsed in the pouring rain. Her cries mingling with the sound of thunder, fragile and pitiful. After the fraud scandal, the media erupted. News about Taylor's and Messi's company being investigated covered all the newspapers. Forged ledgers, money laundering, bribery. There was even evidence of them blaming each other to escape conviction. Taylor and Messi had completely fallen to rock bottom. The company went bankrupt, accounts were frozen, and houses were seized. Messi was arrested, and Taylor was wanted by the police. The two who once plotted together, when they met in the detention center, finally tore at each other like hungry dogs, exposing their true selves. It's because of you that I'm suffering like this. Don't think I don't know you were the one who sold me out first. The sounds of arguments, breakdowns, and curses echoed in the empty house. On the day they were arrested, they were still fighting each other. Their faces battered, clothes torn. The police just shook their heads in contempt. Truly dog eat dog. When the verdict was announced, it was broadcast live on television. I sat in my office, only glanced at the screen for a moment, then turned it off. The golden light shone on my face, cold, neither happy nor gloating. My secretary quietly asked, Mr. Michael, they have all been sentenced. Do you plan to attend the trial? I smiled faintly, my voice low. I have already reached the summit. So I don't need to look back to see who is falling.